okay, when is the other shoe going to drop? Like I did all this research to make sure that I was like a good mom. The first like 3 months, I was like, okay, fourth trimester is like the first 3 months of baby's life. How am I going to make sure that I'm doing everything well? Am I breastfeeding? Is this, going well? Is she seeing her doctor? Is she, like all this stuff? And then all of a sudden it was like the 4th month hit and I was like, what the fuck? Like what do I do with it? I read and I did all my research before I was a mom and like whatever. And then I was like, kind of thought back to my parents' divorce. And I was like, their shoe dropped, like they dropped it. And I can't like whether my baby is 2 months old or 2 years old or 20 years old, I cannot fuck this up. Hey.
Oh God, I wish I could hit that.
Yeah.
You guys.
Hi, we're back.
Long time no see, long time no talk, but God damn it, are we back?
Better than ever, baby.
We are though. We're refreshed.
But actually better than ever because we got a new soundboard. Oh, that wasn't a joke, Jackson. Wrong one. Stop it. Stop it. Thank you.
That was so cheesy. It scared me.
What else we got down there?
Yeah, well, you press another button.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys.
What was that? Wait.
Oh, there we go. I thought it was
like,
Jackson.
What am I hearing in my ear?
I thought it was Jackson recording his own and went la 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 la.
Oh my God. I love our new soundboard. That's so sick. You guys, we are back. I was about to say sorry for our hiatus, but I don't need to apologize for it. I just realized we needed some time. We needed a little bit of mental clarity. We had a lot of life change. We had too much on our plate and we needed to take a break, and breaks should be normalized. We talked about it in our story.
I do wish that like we can plan the breaks versus like all of a sudden hitting burnout, because I feel like more people relate to that too. Rather than like sitting there and listening to your body, you try to push through it. And then all of a sudden you are incapable of talking to humans for like 6 days on end, So I think it's important for us to kind of like maybe plan that a little bit. And I know we're making some changes. We're outsourcing a little bit. Cool things are coming with Straight Candid, but we appreciate you guys sticking along for the ride. And we're back. We have a fun guest today. And
it's very exciting.
Should we start with Straight Candid moments?
Yeah, we should. Should we go? Oh, it's me. Oh, I'm like, I go, yeah, let's go. Go ahead. Okay. So I feel like we've been gone for so long that I'm like, I have like 19 things that I wrote down, but I consolidated it into just a few, and one of which involves you.
Oh, great. Oh no.
So
I'm
nervous.
nervous.
Went to our DMs. Well, my DMs, I guess. And I was like, just looking around, like just seeing what was in there. What are you going to say?
I was thinking of some.
You were holding the vibrator as if it was a microphone, and I was waiting for you to speak into it as if it was going to say
you guys.
Well, I guess if it was going to work, I was like, okay.
I was just this vibrator I'm holding in my hand right now does look like a microphone. And we got to Sid's house today and we have this huge box, honestly, the size of a desk. We opened it up and there was like 12 different types of vibrators.
I feel like someone just let me loose in sex world and I was like, I just went ham or something. I don't know. Like,
and I've been missing my vibrator for 3 months, so I'm very excited.
You have. I will say there's one vibrator that I'm afraid of that I own. And it's really big and scary. And I like have to hide it in my drawer because I get nervous to even look at it.
It's like intimidating.
No, I look at it, I'm like, oh God, like I feel like I'm violating.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry for looking. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I look at it.
We will report back. And obviously I think it'd be cool to have like a sex toy expert on maybe at some point
or like
too.
Just like a pleasure expert.
Yeah,
maybe.
that'd be cool.
I was watching Goop the other day too. And of course I know.
I know. That.
But I like this. Okay. There's 2 seasons. I'll say. And the one season is about like actually like loving yourself, understanding your body. I like all that. Ooh. By the way, I went to OBGYN Dr. Sarah recently and I've never been more comfortable in a doctor's appointment. I think you said that.
Yeah. Sid walks into she had come from her appointment into the coffee shop. Right when she walks in across the room, I go, how's your pap smear?
I'm like, honestly, not that bad.
Yeah.
It was not that bad.
We love her.
Anyway, okay. So I went on our DMs and there's this man and I can't really read his username. It's like Day CVs and a bunch of numbers. And he wrote to us too. You can't read it. I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
He wrote to you and I.
I'm nervous.
And it says, "Hey ladies, I discovered your YouTube and I'm a huge fan of your podcast now. I was wondering if you guys would be down to sell me pictures of your feet. $2,500 each for 15 pictures and one video. The poses will be non-risque and no nudity will be involved. I'll pay before you guys send me anything and I won't share them anywhere. Let me know."
Why haven't you shared with me? Because let's do it.
I just found it and I wanted to discuss.
Okay. Oh
if
yeah.
This is a business venture for us or not.
It's a business venture for me. I am definitely down.
I was looking at it. I'm like, this is what I'm.
Why would I not?
A moral thing that I'm like, why would you not? I'm like, seriously, it's a foot. Like, no offense.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that weird. Like,
if he was asking for like actual nude photos, we know that we probably would be like, morally,
Like
I'd feel a little, I don't know. But feet,
$2,500.
feet. Okay, let's say me and you are both like, okay, let's try it. What could be the worst happen? We'll report back next week
What are we
on
gonna
the podcast.
Hang out with our toes out? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Mine are so
imagine
bad.
Taking a video.
Like, I bet
and
yours
just
are
being
painted.
Like, like toes on a rug. Like that's he said it. Like it's just like it's weird.
No,
like,
I bet he wants us
it's
to like.
so weird.
We can like what's
play
it?
footsie?
Rither. We can rither each other's feet together.
With each other's feet. With each other's feet. Oh God, without socks on. I don't like that.
Do you like
I
this?
laughed so hard. No, I don't. That's why my freaking slipper was flying away. I just had to read it to you because I found it and I was like, oh my God.
I think we should screenshot it and also take a poll on our. Oh no, because then he'll see it.
Oh, I know he'll see it. I was going to say, I don't know about that. Okay. So I don't know why I thought this was so funny. This is the other story that I screenshotted. It's my dad and he was texting me and he's been really riled up because he lives in this house and apparently there's been a mice problem like I had. So if you remember Georgia, then Georgia had children and they all moved to my house and now they moved all over to my dad's. Okay. So he texted me, he said, "Effing mice are everywhere, including in my room while I'm trying to watch Netflix. Ugh." And we all go, "Oh, sorry, Dad." He's like, "Makes me so mad, but I don't have the energy to fight them right now." This is him texting. I'm like, he must have progressively had a few more beers. And he goes, "I'm not kidding when I say there was one in my room that was driving me crazy. I could not catch him. I went to bed and he crawled on my blanket on top of me. I am not kidding. I shrieked and ran upstairs, came back down. He was still in my room and I killed him with a shoe, which is really sad. I put peppermint toothpaste all over my t-shirt and on my feet. He goes, set a trap and went to bed. I lost 2 hours of sleep. You cannot make this up. There was another dead one in the trap by my bed this morning."
His writing.
I just go, "Why peppermint toothpaste on your feet?" I'm so confused. He goes, "Yep, they don't like peppermint." And I cannot stand the thought of him getting on my bed again.
I just think it's funny that if you know Sid's dad at all, like it just is even funnier.
That's why it's funny.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like because I know him, but I feel really bad for the mouse. I will say that, but I just feel bad for any animal. I don't know. I'm really like sensitive to that, but the peppermint thing, I'm just picturing him lathering his shirt and his feet with peppermint toothpaste. Like, my God.
I didn't know mice didn't like peppermint.
This is new to me. That's why I had to read it.
That is so funny.
Relating story, please send it in because I have never heard of this shit before in my life.
Something about you and your family attracting mice.
I don't know.
Jesus.
They really, really like us. Okay. The last thing I was going to say, because I just feel like these funny things have randomly happened, is so Jordan's birthday was the week that we took off.
Yes.
And I took him as a surprise to get a mani-pedi because he's just like little, like loves to get pampered. He's such
I
a
laughed
nerd.
so hard at the photo you posted.
And we're sitting there waiting and he's waiting patiently and he looks really awkward on the chair because he's trying to act normal because he's like never been in a nail salon.
And he's a dude, like trying to be like, I'm just getting my nails done.
Just like it's so casual. So he's like kind of sitting, like trying to look actually like he fits in. Yeah. He's like looking around, and then he looks to his left and he picks up, I keep seeing him like grab something and like put it in his lap and he's looking at it. He looks at it really up close and I go, Jordan, I look what he's grabbing. They're used flip-flops from other people's pedicures. I go, oh Jordan. And he goes, what? He's holding like 5 of them. And I go, those are used, babe. Those have already been used and worn. And he flips it over. He was just like trying to find a pair that fit him.
Oh, thinks that's how it works.
And he drops them in his like hands like this. His shoulders are so high up and he's like, oh my God. And he looks around and I'm like, go wash your hands.
Jordan.
I know.
That's actually really funny. I'm trying to find a pair that fits me.
That's so cute.
That's actually really adorable.
Oh my God. I'm like, you were just touching like used fake flip-flops that were in a trash can with like pieces of gum. Like, how did you not notice?
Oh my gosh. That
Anyway,
is so funny.
I feel like I have 400 things, but
I know. We'll have to save some and like keep them going next week.
Exactly.
We have a lot. Jordan,
anyway.
Jordy. What you got for us this week? Straight Candid moment. I know you probably have a few as well.
Jordy, also welcome back. We love you.
Love you. It's so good to be back. It's been so long. The fact that you said since Jordan's birthday we haven't recorded, that feels like so freaking long.
Yeah.
I know.
That is wild. So
I know.
Yeah, I know I had a couple, one for sure, but it's been so long. Okay, so honestly, I don't remember when it was, but I remember I walked in the door at night and my mom's just like at the kitchen table. And
Oh my God.
which is never good, because she's just like staring at me as I come in. I'm just like, "What's up, Mom?" And she's like, "I haven't seen you for a couple days." I'm like, "Yeah, what up?" And she was like, "I have your next Straight Candid moment." I'm like, "Oh God, this can't be good."
Wait.
She said that. I thought she meant for her, but I was like, "What'd you do?" And she's like, "No, what did you do?" And I'm like, "Oh God."
No.
Immediately just heart starts beating fast.
You're like, what'd she find? What's she doing?
Exactly. And then my dad walked in. She was like, "Oh, I'll tell you later so I don't embarrass you."
Oh,
And I'm just like,
God.
"What the fuck?"
Oh, I'd shit myself.
I know. I'm like, what on earth? So anyway, she comes down to my room later and she's like, "So this came for you." And I accidentally opened it and she handed me an envelope. And it,
Eat your mail sent. Okay, yep.
Yup.
I still do that too.
I do too.
And it was my STD results.
Love that.
And she was like, "At least you're clean." And she was like, and then she walked out.
Oh my God. Your mom's a savage.
She's such a savage. I'm like, "Mom, how do you accidentally open my mail?"
It would have been funnier if she goes, "Well, you have chlamydia."
I know, I was
gonna
Like,
say.
just like walked away.
I would
Can
not
you
be able to
imagine?
recover that. No, I would not be able to recover from that.
Oh my God. Can you, I'm just picturing like you, having chlamydia or something. And then your mom being like, "By the way, you might want to get that figured out." We should normalize it though, but.
And it's almost like as a mom, it'd be like, good for you for like getting checked. But then it's also like, you're fucking.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. That's the weird part about it.
That's what she said though too. She was like, "Hats off to you for getting checked, like health. That's why we have health insurance." I was like, "Thanks, Mom." There we go.
But it's also like, she knows what I'm doing on my off
I
time.
know. See, it's like, "Mom, I'm going to my buddies to stay overnight." And she's probably like, "Oh God."
She's like, "No, you're not."
No, you're not. Literally.
No wonder why I haven't seen you in a couple days.
I know.
I
Literally.
know. One time I woke up and it was the "You alive still?" like text from my mom. I'm like, "Fuck, that's never a good."
That's
thing to wake up
not
to.
good.
No. And then I had another one from my dad. "Hey, everything okay?" I'm like, "Yup, thanks, Dad."
The girl in the bed next to you opens the text. Just kidding.
Oh my God.
Whoa, too far.
Brutal.
Okay, so I remember my other one now.
Okay.
Okay, amazing.
Again, I come downstairs and it's both my parents and they pause the movie and they look at me. I'm just like, God.
That's the worst.
I know. And then my dad says, "Hey, so I saw a TikTok about you the other day," which is never a good thing to hear.
Oh God.
And I'm like, "Oh God, what was it?"
Because you don't know, where it's coming from.
Exactly. And I'm like, or he was like, "So it was on my For You page," which I'm like, "Nice, Dad, you know what that is?" And he was like, "It was the Straight Candid girls and it was your voice, something about a Cleveland steamer." And I'm like, "Dad, stop right there." And my mom's like, "What's a Cleveland steamer?" Just being oblivious. I'm like, Urban Dictionary. And I just walked to my room. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. It was like after a long day.
That
I'm just like, oh my God.
after we posted that TikTok too, I was like, this is kind of gross.
It is nasty.
But I'm like, oh, it did hit a little. It got high numbers. People
Did it?
thought it was gross.
I
yeah,
haven't looked at it
Our
lately.
TikTok's been popping off lately.
I know. I think we're back. We're not on lockdown,
We're back.
which is nice. Yeah, we're
We
not
back,
restricted.
baby.
Even though we're talking about Cleveland steamers,
know.
we're not restricted.
Oh
And that's what he said.
gosh.
He's like, "It's a good thing if this is popping up on my page," right? I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, Dad."
I can't imagine.
I also can't imagine the conversation that went on after you left the room. Your dad was like, "Okay, so here's what a Cleveland steamer is."
gosh.
Like your mom's like, people do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I was like, "Mom, it's appropriate." She was like, "Well, your dad used to be pretty inappropriate back in the day." I'm just like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "This is over."
okay.
I'm like, "Look it up, Google."
Never
I'm outta here.
mind.
Nope, not having this
my
talk.
pure ears are fucking done with this. So goodbye. Literally no. Literally no.
I love
Oh
how our
my
intros
God.
Yo, our intros, we talk about vibrators occasionally. We're going to talk about dirty, straight candid moments, but this is a little bit more of a serious episode.
Yeah, it is.
But we always start upbeat because that's just, it kind of gets us in the mood. But
you have a straight candid moment?
I do have a straight candid moment. Yes, I have a few as well. A few things have happened in the past couple weeks.
Yep.
One being that I met Plant Daddy's entire family.
And
it was really well. It went really well.
Normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I literally loved all of them so much.
Aww.
And to be honest, like this was like the first time I met them. I felt like it was just like heartwarming when I was leaving in my car. It was the weirdest thing. Like I started crying.
Why?
And I think it was because it was such like a nice family and I wanted my family to like get together every week. Like they do something every single week.
That's pretty freaking
like last
cute.
night we all went to Malcolm Yards and like just hung out there and I got ice cream and everyone was just so nice. And
I love Malcolm Yards.
I know it like makes my heart warm.
That's
Anyways,
freaking cute.
it went really well. I think I did a good job. I sent you guys my outfit the first time. I was like, I wore like these like nice black pants, but then I also had like a fun top on, my hair in a bun. I'm like casual, but like I want them to know I'm not. I was like, I want them to know I'm not boring though.
Yeah, but
so
you're
with, like
chic.
a fun floral shirt here and there.
I like that.
It was too good. Anyways, it went well. I think hopefully. I made sure I shook the dad's hand pretty hard. Made sure I maintained eye contact.
Did you make web contact in your shake?
Here, let me show you.
Give it to me. Give me a good
Apparently,
shake.
if you have to keep eye contact when you handshake.
Oh, really?
It is really important. And my dad, whenever he meets if I was dating a boy, if they don't make eye contact, he doesn't like them.
Oh, really?
So just key tip out there. If you shake his hand, you shake the father's hand of the girl you're dating.
Keep that eye contact.
Maintain the eye contact. Be confident with that shake. Grab it, full on grab. Get in there with that little web between your pointer and your thumb and shake it.
Otherwise, you can go like this. Squirrel.
Oh, absolutely not.
Just kidding. Anyway, okay. Amazing. I'm so glad you liked that.
Yes.
I'm so glad you had fun.
It was great. He's met my parents too, but more like casual vibes so far. Okay. Lastly, my straight candid moment happened. I mean, I think everyone kind of knows about this already if you follow our Straight Candid Instagram page and also probably my personal because I could feel burnout coming on and like my anxiety revving up. And I do kind of know when I'm getting like my mental health starts to plummet. Like I can feel it coming. And a lot of times it's crazy. Like pay attention to where it's at in your cycle too. Cause a lot of times it's consistent with that. But anyways, I felt it coming on like Thursday. And then we had our big Lulu event on Saturday, which was awesome. By the way, if you were there, thank you so much. It was a hell of a good time.
I wanted to recap it after this.
Yeah. I mean, not too much because not everyone went. But,
yeah, I know. True.
It was amazing. So thanks for being there. But then after the Lulu event, I felt like okay at the Lulu event, but all of a sudden, actually you drove with me, didn't you? Yeah. I made everyone who drove with me sit in the car for what did I do for like 2 minutes and play a really
like everyone shut up and you played the song and you're like, okay.
Was that before?
Yeah, before you went in, I played like Billie Eilish and I was like, everyone just close your eyes and breathe with me.
You made me do that before.
Yeah. I made everyone sit in the car. I'm like, no one's moving.
Everyone quiet.
But I just kind of like what happened to me after the event. Like I never really fully explained to anyone, but like, I just want to I'm going to briefly touch on it because I bet other people can somewhat relate, but like, Plant Daddy was like driving me home and he had to stop at his house and drop something off at his sister's. I like physically couldn't get out of the car. Like I didn't want to even buckle. Like it was too much energy. When I was talking, I sounded monotone and drained because like even my voice was like, I just like didn't want to like project any energy. And like my heart is beating really fast. I felt like I was in overdrive. I like I would like forget what I was saying halfway through my sentence. And then Sunday rolls around. I didn't sleep very well Saturday night. And I woke up, my heart is like pounding in my chest. Like at all my events, my entire week is over, but I'm still stressed the fuck out. And I like don't know what to do to calm down. And it took me until I would say Thursday this week till I felt back to like a little bit more myself. So it took almost 7 days for like me to come down off of like this anxiety high. And so that's why Sid and I were like, yeah, like maybe we were going to talk about a different topic today, but we'd love to do stuff relevant. And I know you deal with anxiety too. And like,
Very
even
much.
You were having anxiety attacks on the plane this past week and you can chat about that in a second too.
No,
So
I wasn't going to interrupt you though, but I'm just one, cause I wanted to listen.
So I appreciate all you guys and you too, Sid, for like you know, leaving that space for us to like kind of rejuvenate a bit.
Absolutely.
So.
I'm glad you can realize it now and like what's coming on to, you know what I mean? Like what comes on before you reach it. And now we can watch for that.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that we have to offboard stuff. And that's why I'm like, as much as you're like not a list person, I'm making just like a guest arsenal so that like, we don't even have to like overdrive, think about it, panic, you know what I mean? Topic ideas that we know we've always wanted to talk about, but it's when we let it go and let it flounder and like focus on things that aren't priority. Then we have to like pull ourselves back into it and then we get overwhelmed and we lose it. So I'm proud that you took that time. I'm proud that we could leave that space and have the ability to still have a following while taking the time to just breathe for a second.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I actually understand, like, I think if I made a list for myself, I would like it because it's going from my head to the paper and it's getting it out of my system. But like, I think that's why I think lists help your anxiety too, is because it's like you're putting it on paper.
I literally wrote all last night on a piece of paper. I'll kind of talk through what I was dealing with too. Yeah. But I had to get taxes done because it was like giving me so much anxiety. I like couldn't even think. Like I could like feel it inside. Before I went to bed last night, we were watching Euphoria, like a very good, like I want to be watching it show, but I had to like make a new goals list and make a new to-do list. Otherwise I could not sleep. Like I could not sleep.
Or
like,
couldn't enjoy the show.
No, I could not. No, I wasn't even watching it. I was literally writing on Jordan's shoulder as like with my notebook because I just had to get it off my brain because I could feel the light coming. Like I was almost there and now I'm there. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. I flew to New York for work, which was really amazing. I did not sleep basically the entire time I was there, and came back for a few days. And then I found out that, we had our event. Yeah. I had the Lifetime event. And then it was my dad's birthday and it was Jordan's birthday right before that. And then I had to fly that night to Florida, like on my dad's birthday, day after our event. I was like, getting on the plane, I dropped my cookie in the crack. That was another funny story I was going to tell, but
like my fucking cookie. That's it. That's the edge. I carried that little
bitch from all the way from the Delta crap to like through security, all the way through in a mini napkin. Lady behind me bumps me in the back with her knees and I drop my damn cookie. Okay. So I'm already stressed. The plane is really turbulent. I just started having panic attacks on the plane. Couldn't stop. Like literally to the point my chest is beating so fast. I'm sweating more than I've ever sweat in my whole entire life. Like crying. I couldn't stop crying. And I have never like cried like that on the plane. Like I just like was bawling the whole time. Thank God I had a mask because I was kind of embarrassed. Get there, didn't sleep the majority of the time, come back home, and Thursday night is Jordan's mom's birthday. And I was excited. I was like, we were going to have Chinese food and go watch Batman. Like so fun. We get in the car to drive over there and Jordan like slammed on his brakes to be funny because usually that makes me laugh. And I literally just started bawling. I was like, I'm so wigged out. Like I can't even like, you're stimulating me like too much. And then he felt bad, but I had to stay in the car for another like 25 minutes to like cry and then calm myself down because I just hit a wall. Like I hadn't been doing the things that I cared about. I hadn't been prioritizing me. I hadn't prioritized sleep and I had lost it. Like it was like the first time I was like, maybe I do need medication, like just to feel like okay, because maybe sometimes I can't control this on my own. And then the worst part was when I walked in, his mom could tell right away that I was crying, which is like so embarrassing.
And then they hug you and then you cry more.
And I was like, fuck me. Like, why? It's not about me. It's your birthday. Like crying. So anyway, long story short, you address the things that you need to address. The time that you take off is so important. And I'm much more aware to like not let that happen again. Yeah. You know? So that's the realness. That's real life. Life happens. It happens to all of us. And what was weird is when we put on our story, you put it on our story, asking people how they actually feel right now. Oh my God. It was overwhelming, the responses. Like, and what we were talking about is you'd think that would make you feel really sad that everyone was feeling sad, but it made me feel not alone in a way. And I hate to even say it like, oh, that helped me. It's like, no, it's not what I mean. It just made me feel like we were all human and like being human together.
Same reason why we talk about this stuff on the podcast is like, yeah, like at first posting that on social media, I think it was a simple question. We said, how are you really? Yeah. And people were honestly answered like, I'm overwhelmed. I can't sleep. Like I'm having really bad anxiety. I'm stressed to the max. I'm burnt out. I can't do this anymore. Like all these things. And like,
I feel really alone.
I feel alone. Yeah. And I think at first it was like, it was kind of sad. It was it was like, that's why social media and this podcast it kind of goes both ways. At first I was like, wow, this is really sad. But then we really looked into it and it's no one's alone.
It was human. It
Yeah.
was like humanizing for all of us. So we were like, we need to talk about this because it's everybody right now, I feel like. And it's everybody pretends that it's not there. And that's not the point. Like we really shouldn't pretend it's not there because we should be addressing how we feel.
And normalizing mental health days because like I remember I worked for a company called WeWork and we had sick days, but we also had mental health days. And I'm like, every company needs to do that. Dirty,
so important.
do you deal with anxiety at all?
Yeah, definitely. I go to therapy, which has helped a ton because I like went through a breakup and then a couple other family things that happened over the past couple months. So yeah, just a lot of stressful and like hit a couple walls, anxious, you know, probably depressed out a couple times, but I go to therapy for 6-ish months or whatever, and every Tuesday I fucking love it. Like, well, this too is like therapy for me too, to be honest. Like every Monday, Tuesday, like after nights, I love how it starts to week, but like I feel so energized and my therapist is a G too. He is awesome.
I love
Every
that.
time he just spits fire and everything, and I'm great for everybody. So that helps.
Yeah.
But also, just going off the answer too, I loved how when you posted how are you really, when you're like, okay, so what helps?
Like what can we do to?
And just everyone posting ideas and everything that helps everyone. And it needs to be normalized because everyone goes through it in some capacity and they don't like talking about it at times. Especially for men, weak and everything, but it's reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, there was a lot of men in there too.
Yeah,
like a
there
lot.
was.
Yeah.
There
And I was
was.
like, thank you for saying something because I feel like we're just getting closer to normalizing it. You know what I mean? We're getting there. We're getting closer. That's what we want to do. But the reason we chose this guest today, with short notice too, so we're like thankful for Lindsay, holy crap, is because she's an expert in this area. Her book's name, which I wanted to pull it up and read it exactly, and I'll tell you what her story is. It's called I Got 99 Coping Skills and Being a Bitch Ain't One, which I thought was hilarious. But let me just read a little bit about Lindsay because I think you'll get really interested. When I was a kid, life was hunky-dory, 2 parents, great house, good friends, running around. What more could somebody want? And then she got the news that her parents were getting divorced. Shortly after that, her aunt was diagnosed with breast cancer and it caused her mom to lose her footing. Her dad was confused and unsure how to parent solo, and the divorce dragged on for a long time. And her mom became deeply depressed. So her dad was very absent at that time, and she was only 15. And then she started to find herself in that dark hole because of what was going on around her. And she started thinking about ways to take her own life. So she was 16 at the time, and she didn't think life was worth living anymore. And then she moved on. She went to school. She did a lot of different things. She became a social worker because of her background. She's a mom now, and with COVID, she chose to be a full-time mom and had the time to finally sit down, think about herself, think about her past, and write her book. And she's got so much knowledge. She's got a doctorate. She's just like the most well-rounded in trauma and depression and anxiety and like finding ways to like cope by yourself and then what else you need. And she's going to be a really big tool and asset for us today. So
yeah, I was going to say, you're like, she has a lot. She's got 99 coping skills for us. So we're excited to bring her on. And I think she's going to give us some tips and tricks for the way we've all been feeling lately. So without further ado,
Lindsay. Are you ready? Ready? Yeah.
She's ready. We got Lindsay in the house.
Lindsay. We've been trying not to pull anything out of her because I don't want to hear anything before we start recording and hit record because I want everybody here with us.
We haven't chit-chatting a while.
And we did your little intro, and I feel like we did a pretty good job at introing you.
You did.
But,
I was just sitting here. Sid killed it though.
but if you had to give your mini elevator speech, go ahead.
Good Lord.
Away you go.
I need to do better at the elevator speech because like, how many floors do I have?
Who are you?
How many floors do I have? Hold this tight too with your mouth.
30.
Yeah.
You have 30 floors.
30 floors. That's a lot. Okay. So I am a social worker, and now I am a stay-at-home mom. So I never know like where to start on this. So, I guess let me back up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reverse.
So so I became a social worker in 2019. That's like when I actually got my master's degree in whatever. But I've been like in the psych world for a long time. So my story kind of starts way back in the day. We had like a good little life going, and then my parents had a divorce, and it was not such a good life after that. And so
how old were you?
They filed it when I was 12 and finalized when I was 15.
Oh, geez.
So
So
it
it
was
took a
pretty
long
young.
time.
Yeah, super high conflict divorce. Really, they struggled a lot. Just whatever. My brother and I were constantly like, the hell's going on?
Also, that's a hard age to kind of like, you're growing so much and developing, like
Yeah.
age 12 to 15. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we, I don't know, they just kind of both just lost it a little bit. And so, I mean, a bit understandably so, you know, like
Yeah.
they're navigating a whole lot mess of things too. And so, yeah. And so I was actually with my first boyfriend then, who was like, you know, your first love and whatever. But, yeah. And he was horrible. And just a really, really abusive person. And then there was just kind of a whole multitude of things. So I, was in a really, really dark place. And I actually had a whole plan to take my own life at that point. And so, I guess as the story goes, I was with my dad and he was home most of the day. He was a realtor, so he was home a lot. And then my plan was to go back to my mom's house. She was in the office. So I faked sick or whatever. And then, when
You
I
had like a whole plan.
Yeah,
for
you
this.
like thought it
yeah,
out.
How old were you?
I was 16.
Oh, wow.
Were you still dating this boyfriend too?
He, yeah, we were like, it was of course off and on as,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. So yeah, but yes, we were basically together. I had lost like a bunch of friends because he and I were going through a bunch of stuff and I mean, you know, like can't wear this, you can't do that, whatever.
Yeah.
All that kind of
The
stuff.
controlling
And this-
behaviors
Oh,
were
totally.
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
then he, like, I wanted to break up with him. He had been cheating on me. And
oh my goodness.
yeah, like the whole thing.
And
At
you're
16? I
Yeah.
know. I'm like,
It's-
geez.
It's
Mhm.
also like the end of the world too. And
Right.
and you
Right.
had so many other things leading up to this moment.
Yes. Yes.
Were you dealing with like depression at the time, you think? Anxiety?
Both. Totally
Both,
both.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think like, I mean, we can get to this later maybe, but like, I don't think depression and anxiety are siloed. Like, I think they play off each other for
Definitely.
sure. So yeah.
Really?
So it was like, I had no support. Like my parents were like kind of a no-go. And honestly, the only person I really had was my brother, but I was like, he'll figure it out, you know, whatever. And then, my dad dropped me off and I was just kind of like, all right, well, that's the last time I'm going to see him and
At your
whatever.
mom's
house?
At my mom's.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. And then when I came inside, my mom was home, like still in her pajamas and whatever. And I was like, what the heck, you know? And so I was kind of like, I went up to my room and I was like, hey, am I doing this? Or am I like, you know, like,
What were you going to do? Like have,
I don't want to share tips.
no,
You
you
know,
don't.
like I just,
Yeah.
whatever. So I had my plan. Yeah. And then, but I was just like, I can't do this like with my
With your
mom in
mom
the
there.
house, you know? And so it just like hit me, it struck me and I was like, I can't like, and then it like, you know, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And so then, yeah, I don't know. I turned a new leaf. Like I ended up actually Alex, my brother, scared the living wits out of my ex-boyfriend, which was super helpful. And
the big
then-
brother came in.
Yeah. And I had told my brother like what my plan was. And he was like, you are not doing that, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I ended up like finding a whole new group of girlfriends who I'm like still super good
Really
friends
close
with.
with.
And it just like turned around for me. It was like, this was like rock bottom. And I knew like, this is not my trajectory. This is not my plan. I need to do better and I need to be better. And so I did. And, it was like either that semester or maybe next semester, I took my first like psych class and I was like, this is so cool. Like the brain is so interesting. It's so intricate. We don't even know how it works. Like what the heck? So, and I just knew like when I go to college, I'm going to be a psych major and whatever. So the rest is kind of history that way. So then that's how my professional life, it was just like so molded by my personal life, which worked out. So I worked at like an inpatient psych hospital with kids and
Wow. What
which
was
was
that
super
like?
cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It like sounds like so interesting and it is, but like all those kids were me at one point, you know, like
Yeah.
so many of them were in there for their suicidality and self-harming behaviors and panic attacks and all this different stuff. And I got to be the person that was like, look, here's like the other side of the tunnel. Like it's me,
Oh,
you know?
wow. How impactful though.
It was, I really loved that job. It was awesome. But yeah, so then I went back for my master's. I knew I wanted some experience kind of in the field before I did my master's degree. And then, got married and then I had a baby. And so pandemic baby, which I was pregnant before the pandemic happened. So not my
Got a little
fault.
bored.
Not my
Not my
fault.
fault. I wasn't bored. It didn't happen like that.
Yeah, like we were not.
Mind out of the gutter,
we were not
please.
social
Also the
distancing.
cutest baby ever.
Yes,
Thank you.
adorable.
So
We made her send her pics because we were sad that she wasn't going to bring the baby with her.
Yes, she was like the best. So yeah. And so when the pandemic happened, I was working at a clinic actually, like in my social work job, and they were bringing people back after furloughing. And this was still when it was like, if you breathe, you die. So I was like, I'm pregnant. I'm not risking this baby's life or whatever, you know, I'm high risk at this point, whatever. So I've been a stay-at-home mom ever since. And then this is more than 30 floors. I'm so sorry. But anyway, but yeah, so then now I have her and I'm stay at home with her. And so, which is a whole another like life basically. But I started writing a book 9 months into my baby's life. I was like, I cannot lose my career, my job, my passion, just for being a mom. And I mean, obviously being a mom is like the best, but also like I'm more than that. So now I'm doing that.
So book.
And
Tell
what's
us
it
about
called?
it.
What's
Yeah.
it called?
It's called I Got 99 Problems. No, excuse me. I got 90.
I do that all the
You guys.
time.
Ow.
I do it all the time. I did it to someone else
Sid
too.
is known to hit her teeth on the
You'll
mic.
hear it if you listen to.
yeah.
Oh.
We would rather have that problem than you hold the mic too far out. So just
Okay,
keep,
It's
keep
fine.
hitting the mic.
I like
Okay.
mine has my mic usually has like lip gloss all over it too because
Oh
it's
my
way too close.
gosh.
Okay, book.
Anyway, it's called I Got 99 Coping Skills and Being a Bitch Ain't One. You know
I
what?
love that. You got to say it with some sass too.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's
Absolutely.
No way.
And your
How'd
book. Wait, I was gonna say your book comes out when?
July 5th.
July 5th. Okay.
Yep. launches
How'd you
July
think of
5th.
that title?
I don't know. I've always put like just thoughts in my head to like
Yeah.
songs or whatever. Like I'm constantly singing. Like
Yes.
it's just like bebopping around and it doesn't
Bebopping
even
around.
make sense. But I don't know. So like actually when I was at the hospital, I was like, one of my jobs was to like help kids cope. And so like work through panic attacks, do like all of that. And
Mhm.
I was like, okay, well, I'm going to put together a coping skill list for all these kids. We'll hand it to them in their like welcome packet, you know, the whole thing. So I volunteered to do that. And as I was like looking it up, I was like, I don't know, I got 99
Yeah.
coping skills, whatever. So then, yeah. And like so that was like totally before the book was even like a thought. And then I was like, oh, that could be, that's a
could be
friggin'
It's a
sweet
really good book
title.
cover, yeah, because it would
So-
pop up in the minute you typed it in too,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Oh, I
analytics,
didn't even
something in
think-
media.
Oh,
Sorry,
what do
I'm
you
like,
think about
oh
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, amazing. Okay, wait. So
Yeah.
the book is a tool, right? Probably.
Yes, it's like a guide.
Can you explain it just a little bit?
Yeah, totally. So it is literally like a list of 99 coping skills, but it's not like textbooky. It's like fun, whatever. And like all of these coping skills are backed by research. And then like I share like either how to get started on them. If like, and some of them are like basic, like go for a walk outside or something, right? But others are like more clinical and what I've done in practice with, you know, my patients, my clients. And so it's just kind of a culmination of all that kind of stuff. And the idea is like, you don't have to read it like straight through. Like you can be like, oh, chapter 88 sounds super interesting to me. I want to like go and check that out.
Oh,
And then,
great. Ooh, I
you know,
like
so you
that.
can totally bounce around because some people are like, I'm never going to have interest in like, I don't know, progressive muscle relaxation. Like,
Mhm.
you know, like that's just like not my thing. Okay, fine. Like don't read that chapter or whatever. And then I also have 33 of the coping skills that are listed in there are done with interviews. So I brought in like experts or
Oh.
professionals in their field. And so
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I have like super cool people like Gabrielle Stone who wrote Eat, Pray, FML. She's
Oh,
an
I've
activist.
heard of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna
yeah.
say.
I
That's
actually
sweet.
just listened to it. It's really cute. Yeah.
I was just going to say, yeah, what was like one of your favorite guests that shared something really cool that you would want to share with us?
Yeah, if you could like pick one.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I know,
One
kind of a
is
hard
so
question.
Okay. I have like one. I have so many, you guys.
You know, you can pick like two.
Take
if
your
you need
time.
to.
Okay. I probably like one of the coolest is because I knew like walking and running is like kind of a combined chapter. I was like, hey,
Mhm.
that's like pretty basic. Like I have to interview somebody cool for that. Literally the oldest woman who's like the record setter. She's over 100 years old and is still running and record setting. And she is, yeah. So I interviewed, it was her and her trainer that I interviewed together just because like psychologically at this point, she's not totally there
Yeah.
cognitively. So he was like, I just think it's going to be better if I kind of like, you know, mediate this or whatever. But yeah, so she started running when she was 70. Her name's Diane Friedman.
Oh my
Started running when
God.
she was 70 and like is literally a world record holder. So, and she's like, so
Over
so
100?
cute. Over 100.
How far does she run?
I mean, like little sprints or whatever. The actual, I have the numbers in there, but she doesn't even like remember winning, but she remembers feeling so good about it. Like,
oh my
she talks
gosh.
about it. It's super cute.
That's special. Holy
That is so
crap.
special.
Isn't that cool?
So tell us about why running helps as a coping skill, I guess.
I mean, exercise, right?
Yeah.
Like exercise is oxygenating the brain. Like there's just a bunch of like valid research behind it. Same thing. Like for me, like I'm not a runner. Like I'm just never going to be a runner. But like walking, I'm like instantly like get me outside. Like that is like my go-to. And so there's like studies that back up. They like did a whole research study on pregnant women and how that, decreases anxiety and like third trimester when they're like, impending the dooming birth. So,
Oh geez.
yeah.
When
So,
you were talking before about your birth, obviously, and like having a child, and we told you to stop talking because I was like, nope, I want to hear about this on the podcast. Can you talk a little bit about what you're maybe have been going through more recently?
yeah. So postpartum anxiety is like so common and just so like not talked about. And so I was experiencing postpartum anxiety, and then I also had postpartum rage, which is like so scary because it's literally like you are like rageful. And it was like so directed at my husband.
Heard of this.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
tell us about
People,
both
like, don't
because I have
know.
no idea what this is.
Okay. So it should be probably like the perinatal because it's like the whole, like from conception to like, past the 4th trimester even. Because it's like such an anxiety producing time. Like, is the baby well? Like we know that miscarriage rates are like 1 in 4 at this point. So like, that's a super common thing, like during pregnancy, right? That people are really, really nervous about. But then the baby comes and you're like in this state. This is my theory behind the idea. Because I was like, I'm not going to get hit with EPA. Like, come on, I'm a social worker. I have these coping skills. I have this toolbox, and then like, boom, here I am. And so for postpartum anxiety, it's like you have this baby, and you're so like elated, and you're so happy, and you're so excited, but you're also like on such hypervigilance. Like you're like, is the baby okay? Is the baby breathing? Like baby's in the crib. Is she fine? Like what's going on? And you're just like in a constant state of like panic almost because you're like so worried about this thing that you just love so much that you just like can't fuck up,
I feel like.
But then you're sitting there all day bored. Like when you like think about kids, you're like, oh, they're so busy, they have kids. But the reality is like the first year, for sure, the first 6 months are like quite boring. You have one kid and it like, is the light of your life, but it's also just like a blob. Like like you're just, like it's a blob.
It's so true, but no one says this. And
Nobody
I just
says
love
it.
that you're saying it. I'm not kidding because everyone's thinking it.
Yeah, it's like I get why people don't really are like, okay, yeah, your baby. It's like okay. And it like rolls and you're like, cool, it, like can maybe roll over, like super excited. But like for our minds, especially right, like in like the world that we're in, we're like constantly going. So I'm a stay-at-home mom. I now don't have a career path anymore. I'm bored with this freaking kid all the time. I have 2 dogs that are like, why aren't we going outside and running? And I'm like, I don't know, because I would like to too, but I have a kid and it's winter and we can't. Like, it's just like whatever. Then on top of all that, you're in the state of hypervigilance. So you're bored yet hypervigilant.
I see.
Like that does not work. Your brain does not work. And then meanwhile, you have like all these different messages coming in, like don't have screen time. You shouldn't be scrolling on your phone. You shouldn't be doing this. So make sure you're like doing tummy time with you. It's just like there's constant. So it's just like a lot. So for me, and I think like you're sitting there festering. You're like, you're bored and hypervigilant and you're anxious. Like, it's just like, that's where it comes from. And so I was less like a lot of this, like traditional, like EPA postpartum anxiety is like, is my baby okay? And I didn't have as much of like, is my baby okay? I kind of just like, I felt like she was okay. She's just always been, that's just was our experience, I guess. But mine more came from like, okay, when is the other shoe going to drop? Like I did all this research to make sure that I was like a good mom. The first like 3 months, I was like, okay, 4th trimester is like the first 3 months of baby's life. How am I going to make sure that I'm doing everything well? Am I breastfeeding? Is this, going well? Is she seeing her doctor? Is she, like all this stuff? And then all of a sudden it was like the 4th month hit. And I was like, well, fuck. Like what do I do with it? I read and I did all my research before I was a mom and like whatever. And then I was like, kind of thought back to my parents' divorce. And I was like, their shoe dropped, like they dropped it. And I can't like whether my baby is 2 months old or 2 years old or 20 years old, I cannot fuck this up. And that's where I was super anxious. And so I was just like, how do I not become what my parents were? Like And now I'm experiencing this anxiety. I'm experiencing this rage. It's like I said, a lot of times directed at my husband for being a guy. Frankly,
For being a fucking dude.
Okay, but the rage is a real thing because even women have it with their periods too.
Yes.
And
yeah,
we all know that I have a problem with that. And anyway, so I'm not looking forward to this now, especially because I'm like, if it gets worse than what I already have, this is not going to be good. Okay. No, mine is anyone moves. I'm like, you fucking you go sit down, go over there in the corner. I was like, I'm over this. Sorry. I just had to add that.
No, for real.
So true.
It is. And you're like, I'm not this mean of a person. Like, I'm not like, I mean, I'm not like great, but like, I'm not this mean. And like, and you're just like, you're fucking everything up. Like,
and I think of your hormones too, after you have a baby.
Oh, I mean,
You've made it like a person. Yeah. Like I think people have to understand that. Yeah. I'm going to get a little mad sometimes.
I was actually just chatting with Sid today. I sent her a screenshot, but it was about women's hormones and our cycles and how obviously ours are monthly and how typically women shouldn't be able to traditionally, I guess, have a 9-to-5 job because it's like, it's hard for us to do that every day versus a male. His cycle is daily. So he knows he wakes up, he feels this way 9 to 5, but women, it's like 1 week we're really unproductive. The next week we're really creative. And it's, I don't know. I think it's so cool that you can like kind of base feelings and like your productivity around your hormones. But I can't even imagine how those also affect our mental health because in a month, I think every female probably relates. Like 1 week, it was a horrible fucking week. Why? I don't know. It just was.
Yeah.
You're mad and sad about everything.
Yeah. And then you're like mad because you're mad. Yeah. You're like, why am I feeling like there's no reason I should be? And then
it always comes out when it's like, you're going to have a fun night. Like you're like, I'm going to have a fun night tonight. I know it. I'm going to get done with work. And then you're like, shit, I'm in a bad mood. I'm going to get done with work. It's going to be a good night. I get to go to dinner tonight. It's going to be so fun to go get drinks. And then you're getting ready and you're like, I don't want to do this. I'm going to cry. I'm so pissed. And I don't know why I'm mad. I'm like, I'm pissed.
And then I hope you don't do it and you say no, but you probably do it.
No, I still don't.
Yeah, knew it.
Anyways, but I pretend.
We did chat with you about kind of like our anxiety, what we were going through. So like if you were to give Sid and I right now, like 3 coping skills that maybe you're like, oh, I got to know you a little bit, Sophie. I think this would work for you. Sid, maybe, I don't know, like what coping skills could you give us right off the bat? And for the listeners that are currently dealing with these anxiety attacks, feeling a little overwhelmed, burnt out.
Yeah, no, totally. The world is super heavy right now. There's no debate about that. Gosh, it's kind of hard because it's so individualized and I don't want to like steer people in the wrong way or whatever. I think for me, so I experienced a miscarriage actually 2 months ago. And the biggest thing that helped me was body scanning. And I feel like it's a really universal one that I think is super, super, super helpful. So like, and you can do it anywhere. So like what I love, so I was really intentional with the coping skills that I chose because they're supposed to be all like, you don't need like a huge community to do them. Like you can do them yourself. They're super accessible, right? Things like this. And so with body scanning, like you can do it sitting in a chair. You can do it. I would suggest probably sitting or lying down. But like you can do it anywhere and like literally just start at your toes and just like notice your body. Like just be mindful of like what's happening. So like are you feeling tension, like in the arch of your foot? And then like move up through your legs and maybe you're feeling totally fine. Like, okay, I feel like my foot on the chair right now, and then go up and like, okay, I'm feeling a little tension in this thigh, not so much in this thigh. And then like, and literally do that up through your whole body. It doesn't need to take a long time, but just kind of notice it and then explore like, what does that mean? So like for me, after I miscarried, it was like, I was having like a lot of abdominal and especially like lower back pain and cramps, which I mean, that can be any female at any point in the month. And so like I would do some like light yoga poses after and just like kind of like release the tension, that I was experiencing back there. Or like I was carrying so much of my stress like in my jaw or in like my forehead. So like just releasing that, like letting your tongue fall to the bottom of your, and then doing like circular jaw massages, things like that. And just like really speaking to like, like your jaw carries so much tension.
I was just thinking about how much my jaw is tense.
Like when you're not holding your microphone, like literally take both your hands and just like go back.
It
like
feels good.
It feels so
I have
good.
Team J too.
Yeah,
you do.
So yeah,
you could see that. I hope people could see that. She's just flinging her mouth open and closed right now, like, checking it out. Oh, it's no.
Yeah. So So
okay,
that's super helpful.
That is very helpful though.
Yeah.
Really, really helpful.
And like I said, I mean, you can literally be sitting at your office desk, like, when you're trying to ignore your anxiety or whatever.
That was added at someone, I think.
I was gonna say, we do have your brother in the house too. So shout out Gilby for being here.
Gilby.
Yeah. So I think that's like one that
I love that one
like,
though.
Yeah, it's cool. And then like grounding activity, anything like ground, like I'm big into that. And so like at my wedding, I was barefoot. Like I just need to be like touching the ground.
I like that.
My
though.
sister's obsessed with this. She always
My cousin is
wants to be barefoot, and she thinks it feels good and it like brings energy into her body. So.
I just I hate if I cannot wear shoes, I will like literally all summer long. I'm always barefoot.
I always wear socks.
I'm a big sock person. But I grew up outside, so I guess I didn't really when I was growing up.
But okay, so like this one, you can do sock shoes. It doesn't matter. So like literally like just I call it feel your feet. I don't know. That's weird. I hate feet, but actually, but it,
Feel your feet, but like don't actually touch them.
You know what I mean? We just talked about feet before in this intro.
Oh,
someone wanted some feet pics.
No,
From both of us.
No.
He wants both of ours. We kind of want to do it. It's a lot of money.
Well, pictures is totally fine as long as
Of
you're
our
not
feet.
like massaging each other's feet. Like I don't like that's fine. Don't do it, you guys. No.
I just had to think about it, and then she rubs her sock on my sock, and it feels like, oh my god.
So creepy.
Okay,
Sorry,
I like
back
I
to-
like the grounding thing. I really do.
So feel your feet. So like if you can't be barefoot, you can feel your feet, like what they're doing in your shoes. So like a lot of times people can do this like after a hard day at work. Okay. So like work at home has changed this a little bit, but if you're in the office and you're walking back to your car or do this at the store, whatever, and just like notice what your feet are doing. Like where are your toes sitting in your shoes? Where are your like the seam on your sock? Like where does that feel? Like is it bothering you? Or maybe now that I said it, is it bothering you? Or like you can feel like if you're in high tops, like what is your ankle feeling like against your shoe? Just stuff like that to like, it just brings you back to center and grounds you. So those are like the point of those activities.
Oh, interesting. It's like a sensory thing.
Yes.
Well, and it's like both of those, you're focusing on one thing because I mean, speaking from experience, it's like I go through my day and I'm thinking of probably 15 things at one time in my brain. So it's like while you're just focusing on how your toes feel and you're moving up, both those coping skills just seem really focused on one thing.
Yes.
And I think that's probably why, for example, when I drive and get in my car, I get so sleepy and tired because the only time of my day where I have to focus on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't look at my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I can't look at my emails. I can't think about it's the one time where I'm so focusing on a singular
Yes.
thing.
And I think so much of it goes straight back to intentionality. Like we are just moving through our days so fast now. And it's interesting, like actually like with all the conveniences of like modern life, we have so much more time than we've actually ever had before, but we're filling it with like all this crazy bullshit. And then when our expectations of ourselves and of like the people around, like they're just skyrocketed. So it's like, you need to be on your phone. You need to be this, you need to be accessible to everyone at all times. Like and it's constant. And so then your brain is constant and it puts you in that state. So anything that you're doing, like coping doesn't have to be like this, like super crazy, really in depth, like, you know, sitting in a meditation room for an hour or whatever. It's like, that doesn't have to be it. You just have to be intentional about whatever you're doing. So
I like that.
break that and just like the body scanning thing. It's like, okay, be with yourself, like give yourself 5 minutes. Like everybody can find 5 minutes to like do something like that and just like feel where their body is at.
It's just a tool.
So yeah, it's just a tool.
You have so many good tools, and I don't want to. I'm still going to read the book because these are literally 2 out of 99. So, but what would you say to somebody? Because for both of us, when we get close to an anxiety attack coming on, I feel like that's something that people don't love to admit, and they don't exactly know how to turn it back off. Like because you worked in social work in these hospitals, like what's like one tool they could use if something's coming on and it's getting really intense and you're having a hard time? You can't go to the grounding. You can't do any of those things yet.
I think the very best thing is breath work. Like your breath is literally like intentional. So, okay. We like we breathe wrong constantly. Like even the way I'm sitting right now is not allowing me to breathe properly, but like it's an involuntary, system, which is great, but like we need to be intentional about it. So if you're on that verge, there's so many different like types of breathing that are super helpful. But what you basically need to be aware of is, are you like breathing into your belly? Are you expanding your belly? Are you doing the diaphragmatic breathing? And then you can do that in like, I know tight pants kind of make it
I know,
challenging.
I'm like, whoops.
That's why I wear baggy t-shirts so I can just let it out.
Let it all hang.
Let her hang, honey.
But yeah, like sit there and literally, and then you can do like, so I have different breathing techniques like in the book too, but like people do like the finger breathing. So if you're like holding up your hands like this and you can like literally focus on your hands and deep breath in and then out, deep breath in. So it's like hand breathing.
That.
Yeah. So it's super cool. And I would just like make sure people know that like when I'm in yoga, sometimes the yoga instructors go so fast for me that I'm like, I love slow yoga because my deep breaths are so long. Like one breath is so long. Yeah.
I'm yawning because I'm thinking about breathing, and I like took a deep breath and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to yawn because I'm taking deep breaths, like really intense deep inhales.
I'm like Pavlov's dog. Like now when somebody says deep breath, I automatically just like do it.
Like,
But yeah, so the hand
breathe.
one is super nice because it's like, I mean, you can call it hand breathing, roller coaster, whatever, but like, yeah, up and down and then just do it. And it's it's automatically 5 breaths.
You want to know what's crazy to me too is I feel like I think I have like generalized anxiety disorder.
Mhm.
So every day I do notice how short my breaths are. Like they're very quick and short. And I know, like, I almost feel like, okay, I don't have enough oxygen in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like audibly, I notice myself going, a lot during the day.
I do that
and I think,
too.
And I wonder why.
lot.
I think it has to do with like my body, like trying to get more oxygen in and like stop short breaths.
Mm.
And for some reason, it feels like a task to take a deep breath. And like, I can't get myself to do that. And I need to meditate. I need to focus on breath work, but I like can't get myself to just relax and do it.
What do you do? Like, what is your morning? Like, what is the first thing you do in the morning?
I do always I wake up extra early so I have time for coffee.
Okay.
But I will say I look at my phone.
Immediately?
Yeah. I mean, I turn my alarm off and I check my phone. Yeah.
Don't do that tomorrow. Just
Okay.
tomorrow. Just
Okay.
tomorrow.
To
You
try.
can. After this, I don't care.
Mhm.
But just tomorrow, start the day and it's habit. So if you touch it, don't like be hard on yourself. But
Okay.
like, don't go on social media. Don't check your email
Yeah.
before your feet touch the floor.
Mhm.
And just for like literally give yourself 2 minutes and do the hand breathing or do some like
Mhm.
a couple deep breaths, whatever. And then go and get your coffee and
Mhm.
start. Do you have like a machine or whatever? Go start
Yeah.
your coffee before you grab your phone.
Yeah.
And then when you drink your coffee, do whatever. If you want,
Yeah.
if you enjoy checking your email, whatever, but just give yourself a little bit of time. Like allow yourself to have that because that's part of it is like, I look over and my husband is like notorious for this and he's already on work. He's on Slack, like literally alarm is off and he's on it. And I'm like, we're so unhealthy. Like, it drives me
As
crazy.
you're the one with all the tools too. You're like,
Yeah.
And I
you're
like,
like,
wanna
oh my
take
God,
it, like, throw
read
it.
my effing book.
Yeah.
Read the book,
Yeah.
honey.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
No, that's a
That's
really
very helpful.
freaking good
Great.
just
point.
a challenge. Like just try it tomorrow
Mhm.
and see how you feel. Like because even I like honestly, it's like, you know, it's so easy. It's right there. It's like, I'm going to grab it, whatever. And like
Mhm.
literally for the last now, it's been almost 10 days. I've intentionally not touched my phone for the first hour of my day or more. It's been like up to 3 hours.
Mhm.
And it feels like I feel so much more in control. Like you can set your intentions for the day. You can just think like, okay, these are my top 3 things I want to get done. Like no bullshit. Just do it.
That's
Oh,
smart.
no bullshit. I love that.
Top 3 things that I have to do that day.
Yeah. I could see myself using that. I'm not kidding. I
Yeah.
was like, I literally am like, oh
Let's
my
try
God, I
it
need to do
tomorrow.
this. Okay. Promise. Yep. We did a little
Yeah,
high five. Question for you, because I think I want to go back just for a second before we like start getting towards wrapping up, because this is all so freaking helpful. is when you talked about your parents' divorce and like how that affected you, I would love to ask how it affected you. And then what would you tell your younger self now? Like 2 questions, 2-part. Because divorce, I mean, it's like over 50% of the population at this point.
Yeah.
And my parents are divorced. Like, I mean, it's hard. It caused a lot of my anxiety too, but
Yeah. I think like so much of it is like how, like, I have put so much effort in every single day, not becoming either of them and like love them, whatever. But I don't want that path for myself. Like now I'm married, which is like something I swore I'd never do because I didn't want to get divorced. And I was like, I'm inevitably going to get a divorce. You know, they did, whatever. And like, luckily I married a great guy and he comes from a really great family and whatever. But like, I mean, we've gone to counseling together already. And it's like, and not for anything that's like big, but I'm like, I can feel this, like whatever's going on, something's not working. Let's go talk about it and nip it in the bud. I'm not willing to like, let this get really, really bad. So I think in that I guess I just move through my life a lot more intentionally. Like if I see myself like, behaving in ways that I saw either my parents behaving, because like it was just like so cutthroat. It was like so petty. Everything was so petty. I refuse to do that. I just won't, and like, I think we either take the path of our parents or we take a totally opposite path. And I'm trying to find middle ground because it's not like everything they did, were bad or whatever. So I don't want to feel that resentment or whatever either. But I also just like know that like, that can't be me. That can't be my life. And we're gonna run into some shit. It's
inevitable.
financially, whatever. Like it's like I said, I miscarried. Like that's hard stuff. And like life is hard. So like, but But I think like the biggest thing that has helped me, I guess from like a relationship, because I do compare it so much to like a relational thing, like the divorce stuff, is like he is my teammate. Like, and like that is like been super, super helpful. And I literally like we were going through a hard time, you know, with like all that rage stuff that I was experiencing. And he was like, I'm not doing anything, you know?
So I like laugh because it's just like, oh my God, like you can put yourself there.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You know,
cause you're just like, what the heck are you doing right now? But anyway, but I wrote like on a board at our house, and it was like, he didn't really see it that often, but in a place that I saw it constantly, it was like teamwork makes the dream work. It sounds so stupid and so cliche, but it meant two things to me. One, he is my teammate. Like he is not doing anything intentionally to like, you know, hurt us, hurt him, like whatever. And I don't need to be like doing, you know, bringing things up from last year that is still annoying me or something dumb. And also like, but the teamwork within myself, like my heart and my brain are also a team, and I need to be like making sure that they are, you know, in alignment. Like I know, like you have like conversations with yourself. Like, don't say it. Oh, I'm going to say it.
Fuck you. I know.
And then you say it and you're like, fuck. And then you're like, I didn't want to pick that fight, but we're here. So now I have to win the fight. Like, you know,
I hate
like,
that
all the time. And it's like, and he's just kind of like,
but it's like, we don't need to win because we're on the same team.
Right. And so like, if I bring it back to the teamwork thing, then yeah, that's so much easier for me. And I don't think my parents were ever on the same team from day one. I just don't think they were. And I'm on his team. He's my teammate.
You guys are a team.
Yeah.
What would you tell your 12 to 15, 16-year-old self then? Just about life and everything that you've learned.
Yeah, I think I don't know. That's a really good question. I guess just that like life is, I mean, it's always, you're dealt the hand that you're dealt, you know, and you're just going to have to like reshuffle. Like you just have to like whatever hand you had isn't permanent. So, I think that's probably the best. Like it's just whatever state you're in right now, it's not permanent. Like you can always fix the hand that you were dealt, I guess.
I really like that
too. Yeah, the shuffle. I'm like, oh my God.
Something's going on.
I know. I'm like, oh my God. I can't stop scratching my wrist though. Some bug bit me or something. So it's really bugging me.
Way to ruin such a deep moment.
I'm sorry, but it's so distracting. You know, when you have something bit me.
Tears in my eyes.
I'm sorry. I love you.
Itchy wrist. Okay.
I'm sorry. Something just bit me and look at it. Something bit me and it freaking itches. Sorry. I love you. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to ruin the moment.
But I definitely, it'll get better soon. Nothing's permanent. Okay?
It's nothing. Yeah.
I'm reshuffling.
Reshuffle that.
And I'm going to reshuffle it. I'm trying to. To all of our listeners who are literally like us right now, who have been struggling, and they're going to freaking read your book because I'm going to read it. What is there one last thing that you want to tell them that you're like, you should know this? Like, this is something, if anything, take this away from the conversation we're having before you read the book.
I think like so much of it is like, just meet yourself where you're at. We are in the weirdest world right now. Like we just are, we're coming out of a pandemic. We're in a pandemic, like whatever, however you want to view it. We also have like a war, like an impending, you know, like life is not normal right now. So you just have to show yourself a lot more compassion than, you know, people showed themselves 3 years ago or whatever. And like, you have to just like know that it's okay and it's going to be fine. And like, just if you need to take that mental health day, take that day for yourself. Like, just like you need to, just show yourself a lot more compassion, because we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Not compassionate.
I'll tell you what I took away too, because I feel like, I mean, we just talked about this, but like moving really fast throughout the day instead of like being intentional. And I think that's kind of what I took away from it, is like, instead of rushing from one thing to the next, like as I'm rushing, maybe I'll think about my feet, or I'll like try to be more in the moment as I'm doing things. So like finding intention throughout my day versus just letting it fly by and all of a sudden I'm in bed trying to repeat it the next day, you know? So I think that's kind of what I'm going to start doing.
I like that too. I have to like say no to myself. I'm like, why am I wasting my time doing this like random thing that I don't need to do when it's going to make me late and rush, and now I don't have time to grab a snack or like lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, but I know that even when I'm doing it at like 10:30, that I'm like, I'm shuffling everything to the point where I'm not going to fit in like X, Y, and Z. It's like, I just have to be like, stop what you're doing. Like fix it. Don't do that. And just stop creating a habit out of a bad thing that you know is bad. Like my brain knows it's not dumb. Like, so you just have to meet yourself in the middle. Yeah. Wow. This is very helpful.
And don't like go from 0 to 60. Like if you are going and having 15 things on your plate, like okay, bump it down to 13 tomorrow. Like it doesn't,
Yeah.
it's not like we're not an all or nothing society. We feel like we need to be, we feel like we need to do everything. Or if we're not hustling and we're not fucking like, you know, like it's not, so just like chill out a little bit.
We do it all until you literally, your body's like, you're not allowed to do anything because you're having anxiety.
And it's about comparison too. It's like, well, this person does all this. Well, this person's putting that much, making that much money, putting that much money away. They just got a raise. Oh my God. Like I'm behind. Like, oh God, they're all hanging out. How do they hang out and work out and it's like, you need to take a breath because even with what we posted on social media, like we were all, we saw on social media, or what I've been seeing is everyone's living a normal life. Everyone's happy and loving their life. They're doing all these fun things. Oh my God, so fun. And then everyone in our messages, which were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages, were depressed, anxious, processing things. I'm lonely. I'm alone. I'm afraid. it was horrible.
And if you look at any of their social medias,
you'd never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, the very last thing I'll say about this is, like, whatever works for you is not going to work for your neighbor. It's not going to work. Like, you are such an individual, and like that has to come back to you. So like people that go to, like my brother, he goes to the gym all the time. Awesome. Dumbbells, not for me. Get the fuck out of here. Get me on a rock wall. Like, and I will be a happy girl. Like
Climb.
guys,
Your little monkey.
and Mia Thermopolis from Princess Diaries.
Oh my God. Mia Minunet Thermopolis Finale.
Yes.
Yep. I remember that.
Like, I mean, I kind of have frizzy hair too. So like it works out.
Except my tooth.
Like give me the tooth thing. But like get me on a yoga mat, get me on a rock wall. Like that is like how I can, like, you know, exercise. Like whatever. And I'm like on Instagram, like, oh, this girl's at the gym. This girl's at the gym. I should go to the gym. I'm like, fuck no. I'm not going to
I don't
the
like
gym.
to
I
suffer
hate the
gym.
gym. I don't like that. So like you have to figure out what's going to work for you. It's not going to be the same as everyone. So
It's not for you.
yeah.
Don't let it be for you. God.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so good.
Wow.
You're so freaking good.
Oh,
like,
thanks.
I'm excited to read your book.
I can't wait to read
Where will
that
it be,
too.
by the way, when people can
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah. So
I got 99 coping skills and being a bitch ain't one.
yes. And so I'm on Instagram as Coping with Lindsay. So you can find me there. And I've been like, I started that page when I started the book. So it
I
was
love
like
that.
all for like keeping up with it. It's right now in the editing phase. So yeah, we are getting closer and it's 4 months out, less than
July 5th.
That's
July 5th.
exciting.
Tuesday, July 5th. Yeah.
Can you
launch day.
pre-order it on Amazon?
You'll be able to 30 days before. So
Okay,
in
so in June.
Mhm.
We'll post
make,
about
I
it.
was gonna say we'll make sure we'll add a link when it does drop. So
yeah. So
Yes.
people, can come find me on my
You're
website
amazing.
or whatever. And
thank you.
find the book
Thank
there.
you.
Yeah. Thank
We
you
also
guys.
got at Dirty Jude in the house and brother of Lindsay, Alex Gilby. Thanks for stopping.
Gilby.
in. Gilby.
Hey, Soph,
Yeah.
I gotta talk to you about something.
What do you got to talk to me about?
Well, clap if you're excited about the new Manscaped launching. Today, I'm excited to announce their brand new ultra premium collection. Believe it or not, they are moving above the bikini line. I'm talking about upgrading the man in your life's hygiene routine with your favorite manly scent. What? This is an all-in-one skin and hair care routine for everyday man that covers him from head to toe, literally. Manscaped is trusted below the waist grooming now and is now trusted with them on the rest. Help join the 4 million men worldwide who look great and smell great thanks to Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code CANDID20.
Yes. And I'd recommend using the products in this order. Hop in the shower and scrub a dub that body with the Manscaped body wash. Lather his luscious locks with the 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner. Dry off and spray on the hydrating body moisturizer to reinvigorate dry skin.
Oh, wow.
Put on the Manscaped deodorant for obvious reasons. Shout out or throwback to when Sid thought the deodorant was for her armpits and not for balls.
I've been using it on my armpits.
Pop that Manscaped lip balm on. No more kissing chapped lips.
All day
Get 20%
long.
off plus free shipping with the code CANDID20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code CANDID20 at manscaped.com. The only smell you'll want on him in a bottle thanks to Manscaped.
Ooh, that's good stuff. That is so good. We did not forget about you guys, the hoodie winner. We're choosing next week, so you'll have to listen then.
All the way through.
Making you wait. Yeah, it'll be at the end, but you won't know where, so you wouldn't skip. We're so evil. Also, thank you to everybody who came to our event. We had a blast. The Lulu event, if you didn't make it, we get it. We were in Minneapolis and at Lululemon Mall of America. We maxed it out and then some, and it was amazing. Shout out North Fusion drinks and Crisp and Green.
That's what I drank on the way here when I said,
Oh, you had CBD.
I had CBD and I was feeling a little too relaxed in the car. And I
Yeah,
was
you were.
like,
Had to take a little 6-minute cat nap in the
I did
driveway.
indeed.
Yeah,
I did indeed.
yeah, you silly crazy girl. And Shell Elevai bars, all the goodies. They were all there. So anyway, it was an amazing event. I know I did like a weird noise. I'm having like a little jumpy moment, but we love you. Thank you for being patient with us. Thank you for being okay with the fact that we need a mental break because we needed it.
We did.
I actually feel like myself now.
I'm getting there. Yes.
I'm close.
Same.
I want to be you. So I have to say whatever you say.
All right,
you say something, I'm like, yeah, me too. I'm like, Lindsay, thank you for being here.
Thanks,
this was
Lindsay.
really, really freaking
Appreciate
fun.
you.
You're very welcome.
I can't wait to read your book. I'm like hyped for it now.
Hey, we'll see you guys next week. Give us a follow at Straight Candid Podcast. And as always, send your Straight Candid moments to straightcandidpodcast@gmail.com.
We have a good advice one coming next week, so you better be ready.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
We did it!
Chili. Here.
What, chili?
Really? I kind of like it. It feels good. It feels like cold.
Oh, I do like it.
You like it? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm good.
I would rather
Yay.
be cold than